WDET, I'm Tia Graham. Earlier this month, Eastern Market got new decoration. It's 11 feet tall, made of bronze, and built to keep city streets safe from crime. I'm talking about Robocop. The statue commemorating the 80s sci-fi film was finally installed after over a decade of planning. The sculpture was crafted by Venus Bronze Works and artist George Geekis after a crowdsourcing campaign in 2011. After Detroit police officer Alex Murphy was killed on the job by criminals, a corporation tasked with reducing the city's crime rate uses his body, with Murphy's consent, to create a crime-fighting robot. Thus, Robocop is born. The movie explores humanity, corporate greed, and makes clever critiques of American politics and culture. The concept spawned multiple sequels, comics, an animated series, action figures, and so much more. But what about the movie resonated so deeply with fans in Detroit that they were willing to help fund a sculpture to honor it? Curtis Sullivan is the owner of the Vault of Midnight comic book stores and a member of the Robocop fan base. He joins me now to discuss the significance of the film, its relevance to Detroit, and the new sculpture. Curtis, welcome back to the Metro.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Of course.
Yeah.
So, how old were you when you first saw this film?
I saw it right when it came out, so maybe 14, something like that. Yeah, I think it's
talk about-
—
Yeah, what was going through your mind when you're watching this really like sci-fi, super hyper punk type of movie?
Yeah, so I've been a comic book fan my whole life, so I learned how to read from comic books when I was like 7 years old. And I just always identified sort of with the hero aspect in characters. And, back then I just thought, this is another action movie, of course, so it had all those elements, but just the kind of heroic ideal of maybe somebody trying to do good was very exciting and appealing to me. So.
And when did your fandom start, though? At what point were you sold on the movie and this concept and the idea of Robocop?
Oh, just first viewing.
87.
Yeah. Oh, just saw it so many times, and there was comic books to go along with it, and I had video games for my Sega Genesis. They even did team-ups where it was like they had one it was Robocop versus Terminator on the Sega Genesis, so also another great 80s movie, sci-fi, crazy movie. So I just loved it, and I've been a fan my whole life.
I mean, I'm not saying that you're in the golden age of sci-fi, but I'm saying, in 84 you get Terminator, 87 you get Robocop, so you're just in this space of just amazing sci-fi films.
The 80s is just ridiculous. Star Wars, I mean, E.T. Is so many amazing movies that definitely warped / shaped my whole mind going till now.
Yeah, talk about that, Curtis, because at 14 years old, you're watching this, and then you say you watched it multiple times in theaters when it came out. You played the video game. So At 14, watching a film like that, in what way did it start to shape your views of the world around you?
Well, it's the complexities of the film revealed themselves as I got older, right?
Yeah.
Initially, it was just like gross and violent and exciting, and the technology was really wild, robots. And, there's this dude, Ed 209, in the movie that's like a two-legged tank monster that growls like a panther, So just the surface level stuff is what got me initially. But as I've grown, just sort of like you mentioned in the intro, the corporate kind of aspect of it and the privatization of the police force and the commentary on American consumerism and just all these other kind of aspects that are, baked into this movie really, I'm going to say it's a film. Let's get into it. It's a fantastic action movie, but also I think has a lot to say that you could miss,
And there are a lot of themes in the film outside of the sometimes ridiculous action scenes that we were talking about in that movie. But what else about the movie resonated with you?
Well, the Alex Murphy stuff hit me really hard when I really kind of was able to, get a little more maturity and kind of identify with what's going on. It's a guy who was trying to do great, like he's at a kind of a posh maybe precinct, and then he gets transferred to maybe the nitty-gritty precinct, but he wanted to go so he could maybe make a difference. And, then he gets obviously killed, and they bring him back, but they just treat him like a product. But there's a dude trapped inside, and as he starts to remember that he's a human being, there's like a sadness. He goes to visit his home where his family lived, and he starts having this huge emotional reaction. And I just love that part of it, sort of the heavy emotional side, the family side, and what is life?
Yeah.
Like he's property now of this corporation, but he is a person. So I don't know, it's a heavier flick than you might give it credit for.
Yeah, like there's a moment when he's talking about, I remember my family, I just can't feel them. And that one just still, I'm just like, well, that was pretty deep for a Robocop film. But.
That's right. A little tear in the eye almost. I mean, for real.
Yeah. So Curtis, let's go into consumerism a little bit and the commentary surrounding it, because Robocop, like other films with cult followings, has had its fair share of merchandise. As the owner of a comic book store, how do you view the balance between consumerism and fandom?
I mean, it's tough, because a lot of people, nostalgia to some folks is sort of like viewed as kind of not good, right? And I hear those comments, they're remaking this or they're doing that. And to me, if the fan base is there and it's exciting and they're treating it well, I'm all for it. So I'm a big Blade Runner fan, and when they announced the Blade Runner sequel, I was like, oh no, this is crazy, maybe don't do this. And then they really delivered, and they were very reverent to the original. And I was so excited by seeing it, and I love it, and now it's just... So, it's a fine line to walk, I guess, but as a fan, I always do want more. Like, Robocop is awesome, give me more. Whoever's doing that, please make it good. Please treat it with respect and see why the original was awesome. And then, because nostalgia can be excellent, but if it's just sort of, trying to turn on the spigot for more cash, obviously, we don't want that.
We do not want that. I am at a point in my life where I'm starting to see some of my films make a comeback. Harry Potter's making a comeback with a series, and I'm just so nervous. I don't want them to mess up the precious nature of what Harry Potter means to so many of us in our lives. So I hear that. So Curtis, the Robocop franchise is vast. You talked about it a little bit. You had your Sega Genesis games.
Yeah.
There are TV shows, there are comics, action figures, 4 different films. How many of the films have you seen, and which products do you own? What does your collection look like?
It's kind of ridiculous. I own every Robocop video game across every console. I've been on a collecting whirlwind my whole life. Just obviously, I'm a comic shop guy, so that's just built in there. But they just made a new game for PlayStation 5 and all the new consoles called Rogue City. Just played through that, voiced by the original, Peter Weller from the film. And it's sort of just like an on-rails, what they call it, kind of a shooting game, but the footsteps, so the sound effects in Robocop, like, really get me. And the way he walks, it's like, doom, doom, doom. They got that just right in the video game, so it's really incredible. But yeah, I own comic books. I own the animated series. I just got the TV show in the mail not too long ago. I found a really cheap copy, DVD set of the TV show, which is not good. It's objectively terrible, but, it's more Robocop, so I find little nuggets to like. Yeah.
Yeah, and the movies themselves, how many times have you seen each of those films?
So the great Robocop 1, perfect movie, 10 out of 10, 50 times I've seen it. Robocop 2, less good, but I still do like it, and I've seen it probably 25, 30 times. Robocop 3, not great, but if I do sit down to watch Robocop now, I do watch all 3 just because you got to do it.
Got to.
It's kind of like Godfather. Godfather 3, we all know, not great, but here we are.
You lock in.
That's right. Cartoon, pretty good, but weird because they made it for kids. And in the first movie is definitely not for kids. So, I probably shouldn't have seen it at 14, but the 80s were different. Yeah. So, So, and then they did some made-for-TV movies. Like, they did a bunch of made-for-TV movies, and they're not good. But I also own those and sometimes watch those. And so I have a lot of Robocop stuff, and I'm still actively purchasing Robocop items.
Yeah, and just quickly, the most recent Robocop, the most recent one that was released, and I believe it was the 2010s. What were your thoughts on that one?
It's just, so this is when I thought they got it wrong. They didn't have anything else to say, and they just kind of set it in a modern setting. The CEO is sort of like a big tech guy kind of equivalent now, and so it's just, it didn't really bring anything to the table for me. Slick, produced well, slick special effects and all that stuff. I didn't dislike it intensely or anything, but it just, Robocop to me, the original, and this is why I love it so much, is just has something. And maybe it's 80s movies in general. They maybe just were able to fold in these other elements that you think you're getting this action shoot 'em up, and you are, but then you're getting more than that.
There's a story behind it.
Exactly. And the characters resonate and they feel real. Even the side characters in the original Robocop. His partner, awesome and really developed. Even though she doesn't get a ton of screen time, you still feel like a connection to that character. The police chief, the precinct felt alive, like a real place, So, yeah, the new film, it's fine. Watch it. It's slick, but I don't think it added anything. Yeah.
I just hear in my head right now, book him. When he threw him at the police, book him. Book him for what? Yeah, love that so much. You're listening to the Metro 1019 WDET. I'm Tia Graham. My guest is owner of Bolt of Midnight Comics, Curtis Sullivan. And we're talking about the new Robocop sculpture that was just installed in the Eastern Market earlier this year. Now, Curtis, let's talk about the sculpture itself. It's been in the works for over a decade. When did you first hear the statue was in the works, and what were your initial reactions?
I mean, I'm so hyped for that kind of stuff. I just loved it. So when I did hear about the crowdfunding way back when it was going on, I was like, this is so cool. I don't remember. I may have contributed even. Me and my wife, we're both all about it. So it's very exciting. And then, of course, you do understand, I guess, why it took so long to find a home, too, though. I was shocked that it was even a thing that could get made. It just seems like, what? This is a 14-foot bronze statue. This is crazy. This is impossible. And then when they started talking about how it was hard to find a home for it, I mean, that definitely kind of made sense, right? Because, it's different. It
is a different sculpture. But, for you, what is the significance, or why do you think the city's Detroit is so connected to Robocop and it just never goes away, that love?
He's just a hero. You just love Robocop. He's just, at his heart, he's a hero. You can relate to the loss. You can relate to the selflessness. And this just goes back to me and why I love comic books. Superman and Batman and Spider-Man, all these characters, they're heroes. And, I think people just like that. So, and Robocop's one of the good ones. He's a hero.
Yeah, and so when I'm thinking about the process of the statue itself and you just following along with the process, were you able to kind of see it in the works? Were you able to be there when it was unveiled? And just talk about just being by it and driving past it.
So here's the thing. I'm actually headed over there right after this. I got one more little thing to do, and then I'm going to see it for the first time. I've only seen photos of it. I haven't seen it. I was at Frank's in Eastern Market eating with my mom the day before they installed it, and it just didn't line up. So I'm gonna go, check it out today. Yeah.
I want to know what you think when you see it. I mean, it seems like it's an absolute amazing feat by any artist to construct a bronze statue of Robocop. So when people think of statues, they think of notable heroes, founders, or they mark a significant point in the city's history. And we talked about it a little bit, but what is so significant about this sculpture? Because once again, he's not some political figure or some historical figure. He is a made-up character.
Right, just totally, a fictional character. Yeah, I think it's neat. I think it's a little bit of whimsy, which is a weird thing to say in context of Robocop, but it is different. I mean, I was joking with a friend of mine. We definitely need an Axel Foley bronze statue now in Detroit as well.
I second it.
Let's go, because fictional heroes can still be inspiring, and I didn't really see Michigan, or like when I found out it was shot in Detroit and it was about Detroit, that kind of blew me away. It was a big movie set in the city of Detroit. That's right next door.
Yeah.
That's so cool. This is, and I know they didn't really film it in Detroit and they just did the overshots and stuff, but seeing like the Rensen in the shot, is like, okay, this is, I don't know, just very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and just thinking about Axel Foley once again, and I mean, Beverly Hills Cop, just like with so many, I go back and rewatch all three of those often because it's just one of those, it's just such a great group of films. So I love that. I'm looking forward to an Axel Foley statue.
It's perfect. We need it in the Detroit jacket. I mean, come on,
I know.
It's perfect.
No, I know. And are there any lessons that you took from the films that you still apply to your work or to your life today, and especially your favorite Robocop #1?
Oh, that's a tough one. I don't know. I think just keeping in mind that helping people when somebody's in front of you and you can see that they need help. If you're able, maybe do what you can.
And just listening to what you just said now, Curtis, I'm assuming that we're all hoping for that Axel Foley statue next.
Let's go. I mean, that seems like we gotta do it.
It's inevitable. We're gonna have it. It's gonna happen. I hope Eddie's listening, which I highly doubt, but I hope Eddie's listening. Curtis Sullivan is the owner of Vault of Midnight Comics. Curtis, thank you so much for joining us on the Metro once again.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate you.
Of course. Coming up, avant-garde noise rock had a moment in Detroit between the hippie and punk eras of the 60s and 80s. 2 exhibitions on display now remember 50 years of Destroy All Monsters. We have a conversation with one of the founders of the group that is coming up next right here on the Metro. You all stay right there.